Sunday. It is Sunday afternoon. Just duck in the office. I'll actually really enjoy coming into the office when there's no one in here, especially at the moment with what's going on in Sydney. But it's pretty cool. I really love my company space, and for me, it's a work of art. I work at it every day. We keep the office pretty cool, and we've got this is the walkway when you come in here. We've got a surfboard, and we've got some awards that we won on the wall there as you come walking in and see it all. And here's my little getaway. And then here's my big getaway. It depends on whether I'm being the general manager or just want to have a little getaway to get some work done. But it's quite a fortunate space. We're so lucky. We picked this up about 6 years ago in the market. It was just a funny time in the market. We managed to secure it. But I just thought I'd come outside, have a chat, and just want to share how I actually came to Sydney and be a part of this industry in Sydney. And yeah, it's been a wild trip. It's like 1997 I came down here, and why did I come to Sydney? You know, I just had a perfect life. Actually, when you look at it for what you'd actually want as an Aussie guy living in Sydney, Australia, I'm from Newcastle, a couple of hours north of here, and it's just beautiful. The beaches are great, not too crowded. Still, you can get good waves up there, and the crowds, you can get through it okay. And my house, I was buying my first house, so that was pretty special, you know. And I was married at that time, and 2 beautiful kids. And my house sat on the hill and looked over across the lake, and you could see the mountains all across to the west. And every afternoon the sun would just drop down over the mountains, and it was quite something special. It was like just amazing. I never ever ceased to be like amazed at watching the sunset. In the summertime it would duck down and almost go out of sight down south on the horizon, and then it would come, let's pull this up here, and then it would come back up, and then as the winter come in it would sort of set through. You guys say the fall in the US. As the fall would come, as sun heads north, and it almost starts to set out of sight up on the northern of the horizon. And it was just like cool from there, so I could see the water in the lake there, and then I'd walk up the hill not really, just up to the front yard and down across the road about 50 metres, and I could stand on top of the hill and look back down to check the surf, and I could see the Moon Island where the waves were crashing there. I could see what the direction of the swell was, which way the wind was blowing, and it was just, I don't know, it's just like the perfect life. Had a cool little car, had a surfboard, had a good job outside working, you know. I was like, a few years earlier I was state champ. I'm like all cool, and I got my little bent nose, and you know, I didn't really have much I couldn't be happy about, you know. I'd come home from work each day, and like I was doing some good outdoor, some bricklaying labour and bricklaying, and we were doing the earthquake at the time, and there was lots of outside activity. And I'd come home each day, and my daughter would just run up and like, "Daddy," and she'd jump in my arms, and I'd grab her like this around close to so I can close her here. And then our front yard had this big giant wave, a big massive grass wave, and I'd roll down across the grass and hold her like this, and she'd just be laughing. She'd be laughing so much all the way through. And then my boy would be waiting for his turn. Yeah, come on, Dad. So I'd jump in and grab him, and then I'd just roll across the grass. I think sometimes I'd have both of them, but it'd just be crazy, you know. So it was actually like, we had a couple of dogs, cat, and I'd take the kids down the beach for a walk, and just tons of space, you know. And the money was okay. It was like a first house, so it was like, it wasn't a mansion, but it was like a cool house, and it was a good block of land, and there was a barbecue each weekend generally and stuff like this going on, you know. And there was just a moment there. I'm actually sitting inside. I'm sitting in my mother's garage, and I'm looking down. I'm just looking down like this, and I suddenly perceived I was actually like above my head and looking down at myself. I was like watching myself, like I'm looking like, what are you doing? And and what I'm looking at in my hands here, I've actually got my very last ecstasy tablet, and I've got the ecstasy, and I'm looking at it, and for the past week or so I've been taking ecstasy, and I had the idea, or somebody gave me the idea, that through ecstasy I could actually achieve a greater confidence, a greater intelligence, and I could be more successful in life, and I could achieve more and find a way to do, I'm not sure what I was looking for, but and I can just that moment, I'm actually looking down and I've got this ecstasy tablet which I'm just about to put in my mouth, and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, what am I doing? And I just had the picture there if my father was watching me right there as well, It's possibly like I'm looking down at myself and my father's there with me, and we're like looking down together almost, and I'm like, yeah, what am I doing with this drugs, And at that moment I knew I was at a crossroads, and I knew my marriage was gone, and I knew I destroyed my family, and I knew that I couldn't rewind and continue and make that better. I just natively knew that, and I was at a fork, and that was really a fork in the road of my life right there, and I had a choice, do I go back to my drug dealer and I get another 5 ecstasy tablets, and then in a week's time I find myself here again, or do I stop now? And that was a choice. That was a choice I had right there, and for me it was fortunately for me, it was actually a turning point in my life. It was a huge turning point, and that was enough to crash me deep enough and hard enough at that time. And I did know that if I went down that road again, the dwindling spiral of my emotions would be deeper and more in trouble, and I wouldn't be any closer out. And I was luckily I was aware enough to go, this is dumb, this is a really dumb solution, And from there I made the choice, and it wasn't easy after that, because I'd made a really stupid mistake, and my marriage was separated at the time, and I was trying to actually find a way out of this cycle that was going round and round in life, because I think that was more so what led me to this situation, that life really wasn't making sense to me at that time. It was like that. It was a dwindling spiral, and week after week after week there was go to work and then have a barbecue on the weekend, and then have some beers on the Friday afternoon, and maybe go for a surf, and then go for again work on a Monday, try to drag yourself out again on a Monday, and this was just like a revolving cycle, and you just do it for 40 years until you retire, and then everyone's doing the same thing, and then we watch the world news and we see catastrophic things happening across the globe, and we just watch it like it's the news, So it was really for me a turning point, and it was just that was a wake-up call. I was like, I was really close to going down a destructive path, or just going, no, this is like something's got to change now. And very fortunate for me, I did find the tools that I need to go forward and actually really take control of my life, and also to be able to help a lot of other people around me, and be able to fight the fight that I love to fight so much. I do enjoy getting out of bed on a Monday morning and like, okay, round 1, here we go again. It's a game, and it's quite good, but I still feel that I get out of bed every Monday and I'm ready to fight the fight for another 15 rounds of championship fighting for another week, and just push through and get as much as I can possibly get done in that week. And actually that's why I'm doing this video. In fact, I just want to share tools that I've used, that I still use, and the difference in my life from before was that there was a mystery and a track that I wasn't in control of, and I really didn't know. I just didn't know what was right and what was wrong. I really didn't have a moral code, And the comparison to now, that I feel that my life is actually artwork. I feel that I wake up each day to creating art. I create art in business. I create art in projects. I create art with this warehouse that we bought it. It was just an empty shell, and we just turn it into artwork every day. It's quite beautiful. My wife and myself, we continually working on our branding, our logo, and newsletters, and how it's going to expand. And every year we have grown. Year after year, we've grown bigger and bigger and bigger to be one of the leading companies in Sydney, Australia, because of what we do. And I think it's that the difference is that I feel that I'm creating artwork every day, and that's what it's a big revitalization for me, to have that viewpoint for a business. So that's what I want to impart, just with the tools that I'm using, and just share that with you, and how to revitalize the dream inside. Bring that dream to life and make it a reality, and create it, and then create new dreams, and have confidence that you can achieve your dreams. Have confidence that you can have ambitions and you can make them come true, whatever you choose to do. And that it's not, it's no different than deciding that you're going to go for a picnic on the weekend on Sunday and have a successful picnic. That's an achievement, Or you can say, look, we're going to have a worldwide trip. We're going to build a beautiful house, or a beautiful extension, or a fantastic warehouse. I'm actually like, it's finished now. The warehouse is done. It's taken us quite a few years. The garden's beautiful. We had the bushfires and the whole thing was dried out pretty dramatically, but it's really beautiful, and we've had great rain in Sydney. And despite what's going on, there's a lot of work to be done in Sydney, and we really, we've got to get busy here, because Sydney needs production, Australia and the world needs production. And I hope you enjoyed my story, my confession, and it really was the turning point in my life. That moment, it did take me to push down to a level where I could have actually gone either way, and I'm so grateful that I chose the correct way, and I haven't looked back since. Yeah, good. Come and join me. I really look forward to meeting you in person, and if you're keen, I'd love to work with you. I'll talk real soon.